You know, watching episodes 20 and 21 back to back is a real interesting experience because they're completely two separate tones. Last week, setting up the romanticness between best boy and best girl, saying like, oh, it's very mutual, even though he's trying to run away and think he has a disease. Very much, he is in love, she's in love, and it was cute as shit to see the characters respond like, oh, I have a friend, and that friend is feeling these things, and eventually, over the course of said conversation, the guard gets dropped, and they're like, wow, he's not even trying to hide the fact that it's him that he's talking about. And then just like the casual one-off jokes where, you know, we're sitting having coffee, pretending, oh, this is, I think they called him Vincent or something like that. And then he just gets called out, like, so that's the Blue Moon guy, huh? It's just like, I love that type of stuff, and how, even though it had a cliffhanger, it was pretty brutal, all things considered, because you see Dami just, I don't know, like, get killed or cut or something. Turns out it was her hair that got cut off so that it could be sent to Noe. Still, overall, that was a pretty wholesome episode, but of course it wasn't gonna last forever. But to see how much worse it got in episode 21 is, basically the way I feel is like one ship sails and everything else crashes, because right now, Noe, Dami, it ain't looking good as you casually introduce Vanitas' brother, who apparently wants Noe to suck his blood to get answers that he won't give to him whenever confronted. I mean, the idea that he has a book himself, he starts portraying it like, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so and I'm gonna do this and that. No, I'm just kidding, I'm just trying to be like my brother. But the idea that it very much seems like there is some dark secret that for some reason is being kept from said kid, and said kid does seem to have quite a few screws loose. There's something oddly horrifying about having a kid character who very much has that childlike innocence, and the fact that it's basically at a carnival, right? There's a merry-go-round, there's a Ferris wheel, and having such a peaceful and, in any other situation, wholesome voice start doing and saying these horrific things is just bone-chilling. And I don't know what's gonna happen, because very much it feels like his blood will get sucked. Like, that feels like the direction we're going. And if so, is there anything in his memories that will make Noe no longer trust him? That's something that very well could happen. Because even though this is a very taunting-like kid, there was some truth of what was said. You don't know anything about him at all. And that pretty much is true. Like, his past is a mystery, and that level of connection very much could feel betrayed if there's anything in those memories that could put a wedge between him and Noe. And if so, honestly, the last couple of episodes of this core season could be pretty dramatic, all things considered. But I think that's what makes, even if you watched the episode last week, or you just recently watched the latest couple like myself, the pacing and the setup is immaculate. Because when you think about it, right? Okay, the romance between John and Vanitas is something that we've been building up and we've been humming and hawing about this entire anime run, right? From the beginning all the way to now. And to have them actually both admit their feelings but also try to run away, it's very much, it just kind of like, it lets you ease the tension. We just came off of the heaviest arc, we came off some of the heaviest subject matter. It's time to show us that the characters have grown, and it's not just mindless anime flirting. There is mutual connection there. Of course, he says that if anyone loves him, he can't love them back. We now see that's bullshit given the fact that he is in love, and now that he realizes that she also loves him. It's just really cute, really good to just ease everyone's tension, to then immediately set up something that could ruin it and ruin the other connections that we've built up. Whatever is in those memories could destroy, could make things stronger, or could kill. We don't exactly know, and that's what makes these past two episodes so damn memorable in my opinion. Both have equally memorable directing choices, just done in very different ways. The wholesome storybook romance to the almost gothic horror aesthetic for the frightening atmosphere. At first I was a little confused on why we're getting Noe's backstory again in the latest episode, but then to see the kind of, I think her name's Veronica, just absolute horrible person in my opinion. The idea of just rubbing it in someone's face who didn't know they were actually twins, and just her reflecting on some of the things she used to say to, I believe, Louis was his name, and the idea of her being like, I wish I could have been put in your shoes, and clearly he knew the truth all along. There's some heartbreaking stuff as this person is just like, I don't know, getting off on the torment, and it's pretty damn heartbreaking to see ultimately what led to the hair change and everything like that, how it broke Noe being like, just reminded of who he couldn't save. That's the type of shit that is just, it is so emotionally engaging while simultaneously being some of the most heartbreaking shit you're gonna watch all week. Like I said it ever since this core kicked off, it felt like it had more to say, more to do, and more to experience than the first. The first core is without a doubt the setup of what this story wanted to tell, and the idea of really feeling like we're going out on probably the biggest bang they could, because while there might be an argument to be made that the previous arc, there might have been a way to make the ending of that arc serve as the season finale, and maybe, even the episode like last week could have been like the final episode we watched, and it would be pretty damn satisfying minus the cliffhanger of said last week's episode. But I think the idea of going into his memories, especially if Noe does do it, which I don't see why he wouldn't, given the fact that if he lays a hand on this kid, it seems like she will jump. She's under control. And I think he's going to do whatever it takes to try to save her. And in return, I think seeing some more into his past and memories, especially with the cliffhanger they ended with this latest episode, is the only way to go about the end of the season, in my opinion. Now, we do reach a kind of conundrum. We are adapting an ongoing manga that doesn't have enough content to adapt for even another core. So how do you end it? I know there's some fears because I guess Pandora Hearts did an anime original ending. People don't want to see the same thing happen here. Very similar to something like even Blue Exorcist if we rewind back then. It had an anime original ending, and when season 2 eventually came out, they just rewind and basically carried on where season 1 should have ended if we just adapted the manga. Or they might go something just very simple, like they just create a scene that serves as a stopping point but clearly leaves more room open for more if they ever get a chance to adapt more. And I think that's a good way to end it because many anime fans aren't going to want to go read the manga. So to have it in a stopping point that feels like we've experienced things but there's still more story to tell, but it feels satisfying enough to wait, that's the best way to go about it. And based on what we're seeing so far, I think that's the direction they're going to go. But I guess time will tell, right? I will say though, the voice acting, I'm not sure if I would say last week or this week had better or equal voice acting, because they did two very different things. The embarrassment on a character who very much never shows in love type signals was really great to see. And then to hear the anguish in characters' voices within this latest episode, that's just the stuff that it just really sells a performance. Because when you look at this show at a distance, there's so many things that are ludicrous, simple, comic booky, and you would say no one's going to take a show like this serious. But then when it gets into the serious stuff, how seamless the characters and their voice actors transition into that stuff. It is remarkably well done, and whether I'm just looking at gorgeous background art, hilarious faces, heartbroken faces, or hearing the characters sell exactly what they need to, the production in this second core has been a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love everything about it, and I'm so glad that the second core just decided to one-up itself from what it did in the first core. Thoughts and feelings if you have any, either on the romance episode that was last week, or the heartbreak episode that was this week. Let me know down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.